let's be honest, you're not unhappy with your whole life. You're unhappy with the parts of it that are dragging you down and maybe reluctant to let go of some things that are quietly draining you. And until you release them, you will keep waking up in a life that doesn't feel like it's yours. So today we're talking about how to actually fall in love with your own life. We're going to ask ourselves some hard questions. There's a few small routines that you can integrate, and the goal is to put down things that are draining you in your everyday life. Most people think that loving your life is an aesthetic that you see on Instagram or TikTok. The perfect morning routine where you wake up at 5 a.m. and you have 2 hours to do all of the self-care things. The perfect apartment, the perfect relationship, the perfect body, perfect everything. But a life you love isn't an aesthetic, it's emotional. To me, a life that I love is one where I feel safe to be myself, proud of who I'm becoming, not constantly abandoning myself for others, and not carrying around people, habits, or old identities that make me feel heavy. And that's where the letting go part comes in. Because like I said, the truth is you don't actually hate your whole life. You hate the one thing or the few things that you're still clinging onto. A job you resent that makes you stressed out first thing Monday morning. A relationship that leaves you feeling confused or unfulfilled. A lifestyle that is actually kind of draining you, a belief that you're behind everybody else, a version of yourself that you've actually already outgrown. Falling in love with your life starts by getting honest with yourself about the things that don't belong in your next chapter. So it's gonna be kind of hard to fall in love with your life when your nervous system never gets a chance to relax, where every little mistake makes you panic. I've been there. Where your inner voice is kind of mean, where you're scared to even feel your own feelings, where everything and everyone feels like a threat. Emotional safety means you speak to yourself with honesty, but not cruelty. You don't attack yourself when you fall short. You can sit with discomfort without spiraling. You trust yourself to take care of your own needs. And you don't abandon yourself to please others. And here's a little bit of tough love. You cannot build self-trust if you keep choosing the things that keep hurting you. You can't say, I love myself, while repeatedly putting yourself in situations that make you feel small. Self-love isn't always soft. Sometimes it's asking yourself, okay, why the hell do I keep doing this to myself? And trust me, I have been there. I have been in many seasons of my life where I wasn't really happy or in love with my day-to-day life. You know, when we're living for the weekend because, oh my God, I freaking hate my job. And Friday night through Sunday night is the only thing I can look forward to. I've been in relationships where I've been like, do I really like this person, or am I just settling because I don't want to be alone, or I feel FOMO because all of my other friends are in relationships except me? And I've also realized in points of my life that I let go or put things in the back burner that were actually things that brought joy and fulfillment into my life, to focus on things that I thought that I had to do. So let's talk about your thing, because yes, you probably know exactly what it is. So I want you to ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that future me would never tolerate? So your future self is the goal of who you want to be, who you want to become, but not necessarily only the life that you're living, but how you feel inside. Like, are you more confident? Are you at peace? Do you not put up with any BS? That is who future me is. So what would future you not tolerate? Is it a situationship that you're trying to make into something real? A habit that you use to numb yourself instead of heal? A belief that says, I'm never enough? What's the thing that makes your life feel heavy? Maybe it's just one thing. Maybe it's several things. Here's the gentle but firm truth. You cannot create a life you love while carrying around things that drag you down. And again, you don't have to throw everything away overnight because it's not easy, right? But you do have to admit to yourself, I'm okay not carrying this anymore. Honesty is the beginning of letting go. And I've been in these situations, like I've said before, in my life as well. So I have experienced this where I would have panic attacks getting ready for work to go to a job that stressed me out. I would cry driving home from work because I was just so frustrated and unfulfilled in what I was doing. And what did I do? It got to a point where I was so burnt out. And thankfully, during the pandemic, it hit me that, oh, working remotely is so much better for my nervous system. And so when we got the call from HR at my previous company that, hey, we're all going back full time, no excuses, no exceptions to work, no flexibility, we'll see you in like a month, yay. I was just like, absolutely not. No thanks. That doesn't work for me. So I started applying to other jobs like it was my second job. I don't remember how many places I applied to. Within a month, I got 3 job offers again, and that's not to brag, just to show that I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore because this doesn't serve me. And I found something that does serve me. And I got a remote job. And I've been working from home for 4 years now, and I'm so much more at peace. And then I'm not saying to everybody, go quit your jobs and work remote, because each person is different. And I've seen friends leave relationships that they were scared to leave because they just didn't want to be alone, but they realized that they weren't that happy, or maybe that they were just kind of settling because they didn't want to be alone because they associated being single with being lonely. But then when they finally decided, I don't want to carry this anymore, they're so much happier, even being single, because they're more at peace now. So what is the thing that's making you not love your life so much right now? And it's uncomfortable. Yeah, you've got to be pretty blunt with yourself, but it's understanding, what is it? And why are you having a hard time letting go of it? And so as you're thinking about this and trying to create this space of letting go, try to integrate little moments that bring you peace in your everyday life. And I know that sounds silly or like, okay, wow, big reveal, but it truly helps. So you fill pockets of your day with little joy anchors, tiny daily grounding moments that make you feel like yourself, that bring you joy, that bring you peace. Think having 5 minutes in quiet silence, drinking a morning coffee, playing your favorite playlist in the kitchen while you're cooking, going for a walk during sunset, cuddling up on a corner of your couch to read a book that you love or that you've been excited about reading, lighting a candle that smells absolutely amazing during your skincare routine, penciling 10 to 30 minutes each day to do something like a hobby that makes you happy, drawing, dancing, writing, playing a video game. These things sound small, but they change the emotional tone of your life. Think about those videos and reels about romanticizing your life. This is technically what it is, but finding those little sparks of joy that you know bring you back home to yourself. and integrating them into your everyday life and being present while you're doing them. Joy anchors remind your brain there is softness here. There is still safety in my life. They fill the gaps as you release the things that no longer belong. I remember for me, something that I realized that had been missing in my life that I had stopped doing because I was too busy being, an adult, was reading. I always loved reading fiction when I was younger. I was a voracious reader. I always loved it. I would underline and write notes in my books because I would just get so sucked in. For many years, I stopped doing that until a couple of years ago, where I purposely started integrating that into part of my day. So now every morning I read 10 to 15 minutes of a book. It's a great way for me to escape and disconnect and stop my mind from overthinking, but it's also something that brings me joy. So think about those little things that you can add to your day that bring you joy, and maybe you're already doing some of those things, but you're just not aware of them. So what are parts of your day that you'd be sad if you lost that routine or that habit? Now, nobody teaches us this part. Letting go isn't just a decision, it's a grieving process. You're grieving the version of you who tolerated too much, the dreams you had before you knew yourself and what you truly wanted, the relationships you outgrew, the life you thought you should have by now. But here's the beautiful part. Grief creates space for rebirth. And this is where future you comes in. Close your eyes and picture that version of yourself for a minute, unless you're driving. If you're driving and watching this, don't do that right now. But picture the way you walk into a room, the way future you speaks to yourself, the confidence you carry, how calm you feel in your decision, the love you give yourself without hesitation, the standards you hold. Now ask yourself, what did you let go of to become this? Let the answers come up. Now here's the part that changes everything. This future you didn't wait to feel ready, didn't wait to fix everything first or have all of the answers. Future you didn't wait to stop being scared. Your future self borrowed that own belief before they felt deserving of it. What does that mean? That means you make decisions in the now that your future self would make. Saying yes like your future self would say yes. Choosing relationships that your future self would choose. Moving yourself from energy that your future self would not step into. Carrying yourself with the love and trust that your future self sees in you. So what I'm trying to say is you don't become your future self by waiting. You become your future self by showing up as them now, before you feel perfect, before you feel healed, before everything is in alignment. You act first, the confidence comes later. You act first, the love comes later. When I was depressed as a teenager, without even really knowing it, that's kind of what I was doing with myself. I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone because I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I would go and wear the shorts that I was too scared to wear because I was terrified everybody was going to be looking and judging my legs. And then I realized, oh, that actually wasn't so bad. And then pushing myself to go meet new people, make new friends, even though it was scary and I thought nobody would like me. And little by little, it doesn't happen overnight. I slowly started building that self-trust and confidence that over the years slowly morphed into true self-love. So part of loving your life Aside from letting go of the things that are holding you back, is figuring out, who do you want to become? How can you start showing up as that person already? You deserve a life that feels like home, but you cannot build that life while holding on to things that are kind of breaking your heart and slowly chipping away at your self love and your joy. So here's your mirror moment for today. Before you go to sleep tonight, ask yourself, what am I finally ready to let go of so that I can fall in love with my life again? You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need one honest moment with yourself and one brave action. And if you're feeling that little voice of self-doubt creeping in, the one that says, what if you fail? Or you're not ready yet? Or you're not good enough to do this? Then your next step is simple, is letting go of those self-doubts. Go watch my next video about how to stop doubting yourself, because you can't step into a life that you fully love while dragging around an identity built on doubt. You've carried that version of you long enough. It's time to become the person you were always meant to be. I'm proud of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Love you. Oh, I got lipstick on my fingers.